Mu Hanxiu, the princess from the Mu family, found herself cornered by the relentless onslaught of dead spirits. Their ghastly forms hovered around her, eyes glowing with malevolent intent. She could feel her strength waning, her body succumbing to the relentless pressure of their otherworldly presence. With the last remnants of her power, she reached out, her voice a desperate whisper. "Jiang Chun, please save me." Jiang Chun turned his head slowly towards her. His gaze, filled with an enigmatic seriousness, locked onto Mu Hanxiu's. For a moment, time seemed to stand still. The clamor of the dead spirits faded into the background as Jiang Chen's mind raced, contemplating his next move. The dead spirits, sensing their prey's vulnerability, lunged forward, their spectral hands closing around Mu Hanxiu's arms. She winced, the icy touch of death chilling her to the bone. But before the spirits could claim her, Jiang Chen's hand shot out, grasping her arm with a grip of iron. "Run," he commanded, his voice steady and unwavering. Confusion flickered across Mu Hanxiu's face as she glanced at her arm, wondering what was happening. But Jiang Chen's firm tug jolted her back to reality. With a surge of strength, he pulled her free from the spirit's grasp and pushed her behind him, positioning himself as a human shield. "Get away from here," he insisted, his eyes never leaving the threat before him. "Stop interfering." Staggering back, Mu Hanxiu began to run, her heart pounding in her chest. Fear and adrenaline coursed through her veins as she stumbled over the uneven ground, the impact knocking the breath from her lungs. Gasping for air, she pushed herself up with one hand, wiping dirt and tears from her face with the other. She glanced back at Jiang Chun, disbelief and concern warring within her. "Is he crazy?" she thought, her one open eye fixed on his solitary figure standing defiantly against the spectral horde. As if in response to her thoughts, a strange, vibrant energy began to emanate from Jiang Chen. A deep purple aura surrounded him, pulsating with an ominous power. Mu Hanxiu's expression changed from confusion to shock. What was happening to him? She had never seen anything like it. Jiang Chen's hand extended towards the dead spirits, and from the darkness emerged a swarm of insects, summoned from the abyss. They moved with uncanny speed and precision, a living wave of destruction that descended upon the spirits. The insects attacked relentlessly, tearing the ethereal bodies of the spirits to shreds. Mu Hanxiu, crouched behind Jiang Chun, found herself captivated by his calm demeanor amidst the chaos. Within moments, the dead spirits were vanquished, their ethereal bodies devoured by the relentless swarm. Jiang Chan stood amidst the remnants of the battle, his body exuding Little Nine's poisonous mist, creating an eerie but protective aura around him. He remained silent, his eyes scanning the surroundings for any remaining threats. Mu Hanxiu, unable to tear her gaze away, lowered herself to the ground, placing both hands on the cold earth. As she looked at Jiang Chen, a whirlwind of thoughts consumed her. She recalled how Ji Gang had mentioned that Jiang Chun possessed two classes, but the power she witnessed now far surpassed anything she had imagined. This was his true strength, a hidden potential that made her heart race with admiration and something deeper. Blushing furiously, she covered her mouth with her hand, trying to contain the emotions swelling within her. Her heart pounded loudly, and she realized, with a mix of astonishment and certainty, that she had fallen in love with Jiang Chen. 30 minutes later, the other members of the team finally converged at a designated meeting point within the village. Chu Bulang, his armor clinking with each heavy breath, rested his hands on his knees. "Those dead spirits, they were incredibly strong," he panted, wiping sweat from his brow. Duan Feng, looking perplexed, rubbed his head. "It's strange," he muttered. "I haven't encountered another dead spirit since I left that house. It's almost as if they vanished." Yun Xiaoku, gripping her magical staff with both hands, turned to her companions, her eyes filled with concern and curiosity. "Could it be possible," she asked, her voice tinged with uncertainty, "that Mu Hanxiu has the ability to slay the dead spirits? Or maybe she's awakened some hidden class?" The idea seemed preposterous, but the evidence was compelling. Yun Xiaoku pointed towards a specific area, drawing everyone's attention. "Look over there," she said, her voice laced with surprise. "You can see traces of a fight. It looks like the battle ended just recently." Chu Bulang, his senses on high alert, squinted in the direction Yun Xiaoku was pointing. The area was cloaked in an unnatural mist, and the oppressive atmosphere made it hard to discern what lay ahead. "Are you sure about this?" Chu Bulang asked, his voice low and wary. His eyes darted to Yun Xiaoku, who nodded, her grip tightening on her magical staff. Duan Feng, standing a few paces behind, felt a gnawing anxiety in his gut. I hope Jiang Chun is okay, he muttered to himself. Not far from them lay the remains of several dead spirits, their ethereal forms disintegrating under the influence of Little Nine's poisonous mist. The group approached cautiously, their movements synchronized out of years of camaraderie and shared danger. Yun Xiaoku, with her staff held firmly in one hand, stood speechless as she took in the scene. The remnants of the dead spirits were a chilling reminder of the relentless foes they faced. Duan Feng's panic rose. We need to find Jiang Qian now, he urged, his voice tinged with desperation. If anything happens to him, none of us can face Chief Ji Gang. With that, the trio dispersed, scouring the village with a renewed sense of urgency. The minutes stretched painfully as they followed the trail, each footfall echoing in the hollow silence of the forsaken village. Their breaths came heavy, not just from exertion, but from the suffocating dread that permeated the air. Rounding a corner, they stumbled upon a sight that left them stunned. Duan Feng, in particular, was struck speechless, his eyes widening in disbelief. Yun Xiaoku, though more composed, couldn't hide her surprise. Before them lay a narrow street, flanked by dilapidated houses that seemed to lean in ominously. Small stone stairs led up to a landing where Jiang Chun sat, elbows resting on his knees, head propped on one hand. The relaxed posture was a stark contrast to the harrowing environment around them. Behind him, Mu Hanqiu sat with her fists clenched tightly, her face a mixture of determination and tenderness as she massaged his shoulders. Chu Bulang, Duan Feng, and Yun Xiaoku exchanged bewildered glances, their minds racing to comprehend the situation. Their gazes drifted to the ground where more remnants of dead spirits lay, evidence of a fierce battle fought and won. Chu Bulang, trailing behind Duan Feng, squinted through the mist. Is that really Jiang Qian? He asked, his voice tinged with skepticism. Yun Xiaoku, pointing to the sky with a finger, eyes wide with surprise, responded, It is indeed Jiang Qian. Duan Feng's confusion deepened as he studied the scene before them. This is too strange, Duan Feng muttered, his voice a mix of disbelief and concern. Stay still. This might be an illusion created by the boss of this secret realm. As Mu Hanqiu continued the massage, both she and Jiang Chun looked ahead, noticing the arrival of their friends. Jiang Chun stood up, pointing to one side with his thumb. The boss is in the backyard of the village, he said calmly. Instead of feeling relieved, the trio adopted defensive stances. Duan Feng drew his bow, his eyes narrowing as he aimed at Jiang Chun. Don't move, he ordered, his voice firm and commanding. Chu Bulang clenched his fists, ready to launch into action, while Yun Xiaoku tightened her grip on her magical staff, her eyes fixed on Jiang Chen. Answer our questions first, she demanded, her voice steady despite the tension. Jiang Chen and Mu Hanqiu exchanged confused glances. What is this about? Jiang Chen asked, his brow furrowing. Mu Hanqiu, sensing the distrust in their friend's eyes, stood up and positioned herself in front of Jiang Chen. She extended her hands to the sides, her gaze unwavering and serious. If you want to harm Jiang Chen, you'll have to step over my dead body first, she declared, her voice filled with determination. Jiang Chen looked at her, baffled. What are you doing? He asked, his confusion growing. He couldn't understand why Mu Hanqiu, someone of such high standing, was acting so protectively towards him. Jiang Chen put his hand instantly on Mu Hanqiu's face, pushing her aside slightly to stand in front in order to clarify themselves. He closed his eyes for a moment, gathering his thoughts, then placed his other hand on his chest, a smile forming on his lips. I know what you're thinking, he began, his voice calm and reassuring. I'm not a monster. I just have a little more charm than most. Duan Feng, still holding his bow, didn't respond immediately. He was torn between his instinct to protect the team and the confusing reality before him. Jiang Chen's next words, however, started to break through his doubt. Our boss is Ji Gang, Jiang Chun continued, and Aunt Tang Jean cooks the best meals. Hearing these familiar names and details, the tension in the group began to ease. Duan Feng slowly lowered his bow, the suspicion in his eyes fading. Yun Xiaoku stepped forward, placing both hands on Jiang Chen's chest. Are you injured? She asked, concern etched on her face. Jiang Chen touched his head with one hand, closing his eyes briefly before smiling. I'm fine, he assured her. Chu Bulang let out a breath of relief, his shoulders relaxing. It really is you, he said, a smile tugging at his lips. He had been worried that Jiang Chun might have been harmed or worse, replaced by an illusion. Duan Feng, though, remained somewhat confused. His eyes darted to Mu Hanxiu, who was now peeking from behind Jiang Chen. She blushed deeply, looking like a tomato, and grabbed Jiang Chen's cloak with one hand. "Please don't be angry with me," she pleaded, her voice soft. "I was just being obedient." Jiang Chen turned his head towards Mu Hanxiu, his expression stern. "Tell the truth and stop lying," he said firmly. Yun Xiaoku blinked in surprise. She hadn't expected such directness from Jiang Chen. Meanwhile, Duan Feng began to smile, a thought crossing his mind that Jiang Chun really had the skills to win over women. Chu Bulang chuckled, shaking his head. "Hopeless," he muttered affectionately. Jiang Chun, feeling overwhelmed by the mix of emotions and reactions, raised his voice slightly. "Enough already," he said, trying to regain focus. "Don't we have a boss to defeat?" The others exchanged glances, their smiles growing wider. "Yes," they responded in unison. The air in the backyard of Dead Spirit Village was thick with tension as the team approached the final confrontation. Jiang Chun led the way, his face set with determination. He delivered a powerful kick to the wooden door, which creaked open ominously. The rest of the team, Yun Xiaoku, Chu Bulang, Duan Feng, and Mu Hanxiu, followed him silently, their minds focused on the battle ahead. As they entered the backyard, they were met with an intimidating sight. The boss of the secret realm, the Dead Spirit leader, loomed before them. It was a towering giant with a murderous gaze that seemed to pierce through their very souls. The boss slightly lowered its head, fixing its eyes on Jiang Chun. A system window popped up, informing everyone that the Dead Spirit leader was a level 40 boss, and its rank was boss. Jiang Chun raised his head, locking eyes with the formidable foe. He contemplated the best course of action while the rest of the team took in the boss's menacing presence. Duan Feng broke the silence, his voice steady yet urgent. "This is the level 40 boss," he announced, his eyes scanning the team. "We need to be extremely careful." He quickly formulated a plan, understanding that coordination and precision were crucial. "I'll attract its attention first," he proposed. "Mu Hanxiu, your task is to protect Jiang Chen. Yun Xiaoku, don't forget to use the buff, and be very cautious with the boss's attacks. This isn't a game. Our safety is paramount." The team nodded, each member mentally preparing for the battle. They understood the seriousness of Duan Feng's words. One wrong move could spell their doom in this nightmare-level secret realm. The Dead Spirit leader remained silent, its gaze unyielding. After several tense seconds, the giant began to move. Duan Feng reacted immediately, his voice commanding, "Be careful. It's moving. Everyone, spread out." To everyone's surprise, instead of launching an attack, the Dead Spirit leader crouched down. It rested its elbow on the ground and prostrated itself before them. The team watched in stunned silence as the boss's massive body trembled, kneeling before them. The team stood in shock as they watched the formidable boss of the secret realm, the Dead Spirit leader, kneeling before them. Duan Feng's mouth hung open, his mind racing to comprehend what was happening. "Why is it doing this?" he thought, his eyes darting between the giant and his teammates. Chu Bulang shared his astonishment, his muscular frame tensed in preparation for an attack that never came. He muttered under his breath, "Why is the boss begging for forgiveness?" Jiang Qian stepped forward, his expression unreadable. He extended his hand towards the kneeling boss, and a sinister, dark mist began to emanate from his body. This was the poisonous mist of Little Nine, his loyal pet and queen of the abyss. His team, already weary and injured from the previous battles, looked to him with a mix of hope and apprehension. Realizing the opportunity presented by the boss's unexpected submission, Jiang Chun decided to take decisive action. He knew that this was a rare chance to end the ordeal swiftly. "Little Nine," he called out, his voice steady and commanding, "it's time to eat." In an instant, Little Nine manifested before them. Her form shifted into the monstrous, awe-inspiring visage of the insect mother. Her multiple eyes glowed with a predatory light as she opened her gaping maw, preparing to devour the Dead Spirit leader. The giant boss, sensing its impending doom, lifted its head and looked to one side. Its eyes widened in terror at the sight of Little Nine's monstrous form. It tried to recoil, but there was no escape. Little Nine lunged forward, her jaws closing around the boss. The sound of tearing flesh and bone echoed through the village as she began to consume the giant entity. Jiang Chun remained silent, a cold smile playing on his lips as he watched the scene unfold. Several system windows flashed before their eyes, notifying them of the unfolding events. Dead Spirit Leader has been defeated, one window announced, followed by another that detailed the rewards. Jiang Chun had gained 76,190 experience points from the boss, while Little Nine devoured an additional 31,224 experience points. The notifications continued, showing Jiang Chun's progress from level 25 to level 26. Each of his attribute points increased, and he was granted 10 proficient points, which he could use to advance his skills further. As Little Nine finished her gruesome meal, the poisonous mist began to dissipate, returning to Jiang Chun's body. The team stood in a circle, their exhaustion momentarily forgotten as another system window appeared, congratulating them on their victory. Congratulations! You have defeated the boss and completed the secret realm, Dead Spirit Village. As the system began calculating the rewards for their grueling battle, the team exchanged glances, the weight of their shared experience evident in their eyes. Duan Feng, ever observant, quickly realized the full extent of Jiang Chun's achievement. You didn't just defeat the boss, Jiang Chun. You also took out every dead spirit in the village. His voice carried a mix of admiration and incredulity. Jiang Chun, standing amidst the dissipating remnants of Little Nine's poisonous mist, put his hand behind his head, closed his eyes, and let out a forced smile. Looks like my poison was just the thing to eliminate those dead spirits, he said, attempting to downplay his role in their victory. Just then, the system's calculation concluded, and a mission status window appeared before them. Duan Feng, level 49, received a C rank evaluation. Chu Bulang, also level 49, earned a D rank evaluation. Yun Xiaoku, at level 46, shared the D rank evaluation. Mu Hanqiu, level 36, received an E rank evaluation. And finally, Jiang Chun, despite being only level 26, received an unprecedented SSS rank evaluation. SSS rank? Yun Xiaoku echoed in amazement, her eyes wide. That's unheard of. The system announced their successful clearance of the level 30 Nightmare Difficulty Secret Realm, Dead Spirit Village. As part of their reward, each member of the team was granted the Medal of the Dead, a special item capable of withstanding one deadly attack. This unique item, already bound to them, could neither be transferred nor sold. Suddenly, a shining metal appeared in the sky, descending slowly towards them. Its radiant glow illuminated their faces, casting long shadows on the ground. Everyone stared in awe, the significance of their rewards sinking in. Duan Feng's amazement was palpable. The individual reward items were already exceptional, but this is beyond anything we've ever received. Chu Bulang nodded, his usually stern face softening with a rare smile. We've never gotten rewards like these before, he admitted, his voice filled with respect and gratitude. The team turned to Jiang Chun, their savior, and began to bow before him, expressing their heartfelt thanks. Thank you, Jiang Chun, Duan Feng said, his voice steady despite the emotion in his eyes. You carried the whole team through this ordeal. Jiang Chun, overwhelmed by their gratitude, put his hand behind his head and started laughing. Come on, guys, it was a team effort, he said, trying to deflect the praise. But his eyes shone with pride and relief, knowing he had earned their trust and respect. Jiang Chun's SSS rank evaluation had shocked and impressed everyone. He found himself showered with an array of rewards. His eyes widened in surprise as the items materialized before him. 2 ancient-looking books, a gleaming metal glove, an intricately detailed scroll, a crystal pulsating with a mysterious energy, a menacing scythe, a delicate necklace, an ornate ring, and a sturdy shield. He crossed his arms and studied the items with a thoughtful expression. It's no wonder this was a level 30 secret realm, he mused aloud. The death rate was too high, but these rewards, they must be worth billions. Among the bounty, one item particularly caught his attention, a platinum-quality invisibility cape. Its description was almost too good to be true, granting 80 agility points and 50 energy points, and allowing its user to become invisible for 3 minutes with a cooldown of 2 hours. Jiang Chun extended his hand towards the cape, his eyes reflecting a mix of surprise and delight. This cape is not just useful, it's practically a game-changer, he thought, admiring the shimmering fabric. And it looks fashionable, too. Satisfied with his choice, Jiang Chun decided to keep the invisibility cape for himself. The other items, though valuable, were not immediately useful to him. He resolved to sell them once they returned to their base, planning to use the proceeds to buy blood essence for his insects. The thought of his loyal pet, Little Nine, and her potential to summon another swarm of abyss insects excited him. As these thoughts raced through his mind, a portal suddenly appeared in the sky, shimmering with an ethereal light. A system window popped up, informing everyone present that due to the mutation in the secret realm, it was about to disappear. The message urged them to leave as soon as possible. As night cloaked the world in shadows, the team emerged from the portal, returning to the Night Watch headquarters. The weight of their recent ordeal in the mutated Dead Spirit Village hung heavily on them. Ji Gang, the chief of the Night Watch, awaited them in his office. His stern presence was intimidating, yet it also carried a sense of reliability. Duan Feng took the lead, recounting the mutation of the secret realm into a catastrophe rank and Jiang Qin's pivotal role in both conquering the realm and protecting Mu Hanxiu. Ji Gang listened intently, his eyes widening in shock as the details unfolded. Everyone, leave the office. I need to speak with Jiang Qin alone, Ji Gang commanded. His voice a mix of authority and curiosity. Duan Feng nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. Understood, he said, leading the others out. The door closed behind them with a soft click, leaving Jiang Qin alone with Ji Gang. Ji Gang turned to face Jiang Qin, his expression serious. Be honest with me, Jiang Qin. I need to know everything, he said, his tone firm yet not unkind. If you resist, there will be severe consequences. Jiang Qin's heart pounded in his chest. He felt a cold sweat break out across his forehead. What do you mean? He asked, his voice trembling. He genuinely had no idea what Ji Gang was referring to. Ji Gang's gaze was piercing, his eyes seemingly seeing through Jiang Qin. You told the others that the poison could counteract dead spirits, Ji Gang began. But I know that's not the whole truth. You're hiding something. I need you to tell me what it is. Jiang Qin felt a wave of confusion and fear wash over him. Why was Ji Gang so insistent? He tried to keep his composure, but the intensity of Ji Gang's stare made it difficult. He felt the presence of Little Nine in his consciousness, her fear mirroring his own. She was the queen of the abyss, and her existence was a closely guarded secret. If the world discovered the truth about his insects, ancient calamities that they were, he shuddered to think of the consequences. Would they let him live? Would they understand? Or would they see him as a threat to be eliminated?